Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from Rome. Pope Francis made his traditional visit to a statue of Mary erected in the center of Rome near the Spanish Steps to celebrate the feast of the Immaculate Conception. Thousands of Romans and tourists crowded around the statue where people had been laying flowers all day. After the service, the Pope greeted the sick and disabled for over 30 minutes. During the service, the Pope read a prayer he composed to Mary for the occasion.
Abbiamo bisogno del tuo sguardo immacolato per ritrovare la capacità di guardare le persone e le cose con rispetto e riconoscenza, senza interessi egoistici o ipocrisie. Abbiamo bisogno del tuo cuore immacolato per amare in maniera gratuita, senza secondi fini, ma cercando il bene dell'altro, con semplicità e sincerità, rinunciando a maschere e trucchi. Abbiamo bisogno delle tue mani immacolate per accarezzare con tenerezza, per toccare la carne di Gesù nei fratelli poveri, malati, disprezzati, per rialzare chi è caduto e sostenere chi vacilla. Abbiamo bisogno dei tuoi piedi immacolati per andare incontro a chi non sa fare il primo passo, per camminare sui sentieri di chi è smarrito, per andare a trovare le persone sole.
Earlier in the day, Rome firefighters with a truck and ladder hung a wreath of white flowers from the outstretched arms of the statue. The firefighters have observed this tradition every year since 1857. In news now from around the country, Ohio lawmakers passed the so-called heartbeat bill this past week. The bill would ban abortions in Ohio from the moment the heartbeat of a fetus is detected, which occurs around 6 weeks into pregnancy. The only exception would be if the life of the mother is in danger. State legislators have considered the bill in previous years, but has never passed the Senate. The bill now moves on to Governor John Kasich's desk. If he does nothing within 10 days, the bill would become law early next year. A veto would stop the bill unless 3/5 of the State House and Senate vote to override the bill. Should the bill become law, the American Civil Liberties Union of Ohio has said it would press a legal challenge. In news now from the Vatican, holding his general audience this past weekend, the Vatican Audience Hall, decorated with nativity scenes and Christmas ornaments from Mexico, Pope Francis announced that he was beginning a series of audience talks about hope. Rome Reports has more from a very boisterous Paul VI Hall.
Pope Francis addressed an enthusiastic crowd of more than 5,000 people in Paul VI Audience Hall. The Pope did not spare any pats, kisses, or cuddles whilst walking towards the stage. Many of the pilgrims held their children out for the Pope to bless them, and some were dressed in original ways. Pope Francis started a new series of catechesis about hope. First off, the Pope warned that it should not be mistaken for optimism.
È molto importante perché la speranza non delude. L'ottimismo delude, la speranza no. Chiaro? Quando noi siamo nel buio, nelle difficoltà, non viene il sorriso. C'è proprio la speranza che ci insegna a sorridere in quella strada per trovare Dio.
He explained that Christian hope helps us face the challenges of life decisively, because he who believes knows that God is by his side.
Io spero perché Dio è accanto a me. E questo possiamo dirlo tutti noi, ognuno di noi. Può dire io spero, ho speranza, perché Dio cammina con me. Cammina e mi porta dalla mano.
December 9th is the International Anti-Corruption Day, and the 10th is the World Day of Human Rights. So at the end of his catechesis, the Pope underlined that fighting against corruption and protecting human rights go hand in hand.
More news now from the Vatican. The Congregation for Clergy has updated their 1985 guidelines for preparing men for the Latin-rite priesthood and ensuring their continuing education, training, and support. The document, titled The Gift of the Priestly Vocation, was released at the Vatican December 7th. In the document, the Congregation for Clergy says the Catholic Church needs holy, healthy, and humble priests, and that requires prayers for vocations and the careful selection and training of candidates. The guidelines, which are to be adapted by national bishops' conferences, include an outline of the stages, prayer life, and specific subjects to be studied during the 6 or more years of preparation for priestly ordination. But the guidelines also acknowledge that many of the skills needed to be a good priest cannot be learned in a classroom. They are, the document says, the result of prayer, self-discipline, and seeking to model one's behavior on that of Christ. And finally in the news, the Catholic community in Oakland, California has been offering prayers and support to all those who have been affected by a recent fire in an Oakland warehouse that killed 36 people. The fire started during a dance party at a warehouse that had been converted to artists' studios and illegal living spaces. The fire is reported to be the most lethal building fire in the U.S. in more than a decade. Bishop Michael Barber of Oakland said in a statement that his prayers and thoughts are with those who have died or are suffering from the tragic fire. He also prayed for the first responders, medical personnel, and others who were aiding the victims and their loved ones. The deceased and their families were remembered at all masses in the diocese over this past weekend. Father Jason Lendeza, pastor of St. Benedict Parish in Oakland and chaplain of the Oakland Police and Fire Departments, was assisting family members. The Cathedral of Christ, the Light, is also planning on hosting an interfaith prayer service for the victims and first responders. Well, that's all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.